Good morning. So there's this rail trail that goes cuts through the city, and it's so nice. I was at the other part of it. I moved hostels or guest houses today, and it's so nice. It just extends forever, basically. So anyway, I want to talk about the problem that I'm facing right now, because, or not because, I'm choosing to spend my time here in Seoul, not focused on working on my laptop in the mornings. I'm here just for a couple days, basically, and I want to spend the time present and exploring and experiences and memories and stuff like that. But the problem is, when I don't have that routine, and when I don't work and go to a coffee shop in the morning, I lose my discipline for my nighttime routine and getting to sleep on time. Last night I was just sitting on the couch after dinner watching some podcasts and videos, and it's 8 o'clock rolled by, and that's usually the time that my phone goes to grayscale and do not disturb. Well, it's always on do not disturb, but that's when I start my meditation and nighttime routine. But the problem I'm having, and I ended up watching until 9, and so I went to bed at something like 9:45 or something. I didn't get bad sleep. I got a 91 or something, but it was just a couple days ago where I was prioritizing 100% sleep, and so I'm what's changed? Why is it all of a sudden okay to just blow by my sleep routine and nighttime routine? And I think the reason it's a lack of purpose in the morning, and that's what I'm struggling with. And it also doesn't help that there aren't a whole lot of coffee shops here in Seoul that open early. It seems the culture seems to shift by 10, 11 a.m, noon. The coffee shops and cafes are just packed with people, and restaurants, and everybody's out shopping. But it's all these people, where do you get your coffee? It's 7:15, and I have now for years gone to a coffee shop first thing in the morning. I feel there's something lacking. There's a lack of purpose for me if I don't just do something immediately, because then I end up just sitting around, and I'm on my phone, and I'm all right, what am I gonna do today? And then just time is passing by, and I'd rather just go and be somewhere and do something. And when I say that, I mean go to a coffee shop and literally sit there and journal, or think about ideas, or just drink coffee. And I'm not talking about doing something very big, but it's gonna rain today. It's gonna rain. So anyway, yeah, it's this lack of purpose or lack of direction, I feel like, because there's no consequences. If I go to bed later, what are the consequences? If I'm choosing to work in the morning and valuing that time, then the consequences are that focused time is degraded. It's like, it's not as good. And then I'm gonna beat myself up for like not being able to focus clearly. And it's like, well, yeah, that was in your control. That's because you didn't go to sleep on time last night. Like, I value this, and so like you should be valuing that. So the link is very clear for me. But when I don't have that, it like breaks down, and I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what to do. I have struggled with this every single time I have stopped working. Here, Georgetown, Malaysia, Singapore, and Europe went well. And I think that's because my morning routine was always the same. I got up and I went and journaled in a coffee shop, and then I started my day. So I'm trying to like parse out the solution to this on the spot, because I don't know what it is. Like, is it just I need a coffee shop to be open? I saw last night there's one that's like 2 blocks away that opens at 8, which 8 is like the border. Because if I get up, I push back my wake time from 6:30 to 7. So I'm like, well, again, it doesn't make any sense to wake up and to not be able to do anything. So, but 7 I can make. Or sorry, 8 I can make. But maybe it's like, I still don't feel the consequences, the downside. Because I think, like, I don't do much when I go there. I just sit and be present and take it in, and enjoy the coffee and think about, what I'm doing today, or reflect, or what comes to mind. Like, it's not difficult. So I don't know. I thought I might be able to get closer to an answer of this video, but I don't think I did. I don't know. But that's at least what I'm thinking about. The other thing I wanted to share was this podcast I was watching last night between Bryan Johnson and Tucker Carlson. Never in a million years did I think I would be watching a podcast between these two, but it was really fascinating. And like, if you have any preconceived notions about Tucker Carlson, like, they didn't talk, well, they brought up politics like maybe once, but it was very neutral, and I appreciated that. I saw a side of Tucker Carlson, and I mean, like, I don't watch him. I have never watched him, but it's just really interesting, and he has some really good questions. And I like, it's been this one and this podcast and the podcast between Dr. Mike and Bryan Johnson, where I feel like I really appreciate these like high level conversations where they don't just, it's like if I were to interview Bryan Johnson, I would just like agree with everything that he says. But Tucker and Dr. Mike like didn't agree with everything, and they were asking like deeper questions of like why, or like, I respect your answer, but like I disagree and this is why. I was like, this is so cool to watch, just like a deep conversation between two very smart individuals. And it went deep pretty quickly. Like philosophical. They were talking about, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because of this thread of purpose. They were talking about like, well, if Bryan Johnson's idea is to not die, he was making the distinction between don't die and live forever. Like he's saying don't die, not to live forever. But like the question comes up of like, well, humans seem to self-harm a lot. And why is that? Number one. But also there's this fundamental question of like, why should I live longer? Or why should I choose to live over death? And it's like, I don't even know how to start to begin to answer that question. It's like, well, obviously you would want to live, but no, like, why? And yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. Or like it's one of those deep questions that's like fundamental to life that you just never think to ask. And they talked about religion as well. I think Tucker is religious, and Bryan is agnostic. And that was really like to see the conversation go from like health and protocols and then move into like artificial intelligence and the future and like what does it mean to be human? What is it going to mean to be human in the next couple centuries? And then from that move on to like, why should we value life just as a question? Like, and what is moral and what is not? And like, what role does spirituality have in all of this? And it's just like, man. Wow. Deep questions. And super interesting. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about, and that's what I'm struggling with, and that's what I was listening to yesterday. So I'll see you tomorrow.